All right. Well, thank you, Jennifer, for being with me today to come and talk about the Carondelet Health Network Dietetic Internship in Tucson, Arizona. So I'd love for you to just tell us about your internship program.
Sure. Thank you, Jennifer. So our program accepts 3 interns yearly. We participate in the DICAS spring match. We generally start at the end of July and finish at the end of May in the following year. We're clinically focused, medical nutrition therapy, clinically focused. So a lot of our rotations obviously are clinical. The core clinical rotations we do at St. Mary's Hospital and St. Joseph Hospital in Tucson. Those are the main Carondelet hospitals. But we do have a lot of rotations at other sites, so interns can get a better idea of, clinical outside of the traditional hospitals. So we have a bariatric rotation, eating disorders, long-term care, gestational diabetes, outpatient. So interns get exposed to a lot of different kind of clinical settings. We do a food service, of course. That's, I would like to say, as minimal as possible. Most of our applicants really have no interest in food service. So there's 5 weeks of that, or 4, including a project week. We have a 2-week research rotation in which the interns participate in basically a quality project here at St. Mary's. We used to have them go to the University of Arizona and spend a week with some research dietitians there. And, I think that was interesting, but, the majority of people are not going to end up in that kind of setting. And I think it's more important that dietitians know how to conduct, quality and research projects on their own in their own settings. So, we switched to just doing a project here at St. Mary's. Community, the interns spend a little bit of time at WIC, and there's a school food service rotation. A little bit's food service, and quite a bit of it is working with the children in schools. What else do we have? Clinical management. So the interns spend a week with me and learn about dietitian competency, hiring, all that kind of stuff. Let's see what else. So those are our rotations. Staff relief. So the interns spend 4 weeks in staff relief at the end of the core clinical rotations. So they find that very, very helpful in kind of pulling everything together, really functioning as an entry-level dietitian. It gives them a lot of confidence to just start working right after they finish the internship. So let's see if I missed anything. Research, clinical. Okay, yeah, I think I got it. So that's kind of the all the basic rotations. It's a total of 42 weeks. I don't know if I said that. Application criteria, we do require a DPD GPA of 3.0. We don't require any particular experience hours. It's obviously beneficial to have some experience, especially in the hospital. Some people really don't like being in hospitals, so it's good to have that experience where you've at least been in a hospital, even if it's just volunteer, and you're kind of familiar with that setting. But that said, we don't require it by any means. We have plenty of interns that have never been in the hospital setting. For our application process, I would say we weigh most heavily the personal statement, the letters of recommendation. Those are the 2 things we look at, I think, most closely, because we really want to get a feel for what the applicants are like why do they want to be dietitians? What are their goals? What are their more intangible qualities, like responsibility and communication skills, and those kinds of things, which is really hard to tell from just an application. So so we look at those things. Of course, we still look at GPA and experience, but those aren't weighted as heavily as the other 2 I mentioned. GPA in particular for me is not, what's important. I think most important is grades in your nutrition classes. grades in some of the sciences like chemistry. I don't know if you get a C in chemistry. I don't really care about that. I don't think you have to be good in chemistry classes to be a great dietitian. So, so I know that's a concern of a lot of students is their DPD, GPA, and again, I think what we look at most closely is the nutrition courses specifically. So, what else? So the personal statement, the letters of recommendation. So I would say for that, you definitely want to make sure that you're asking the right people for your letters of recommendation. So people that know you well and can speak to your qualities and that will give you a good letter, and people that understand the importance of it. We have some letters of recommendation from supervisors or bosses from different positions they've had, but they're not dietitians, so they don't really understand the whole process and how important it is, and they maybe write 3 or 4 sentences about the applicant, and that's not very helpful for us. So just making sure that whoever you're asking, especially if they're not a dietitian, that they understand the importance of that. The personal statement, I know that's hard, and it's hard for us. I think the applicants kind of run together after a while. So as personal as you can be, if there's anything that's unique about yourself related to nutrition and your career goals. And personally, what I like to see is I don't want to see kind of a summary of your resume, just a description of all of the things that you've done. I want to see more. What did you learn from those experiences? That's more helpful to us then, because I can read your resume, to look to see what experiences you have. I am kind of rambling. So what else?
So can you tell me, what the day-to-day of the internship looks like? What are there projects, homework assignments?
Yeah.
What does it look like to be an intern at Carondelet?
So, food service rotations are first. We do a week of orientation to the program and to food service rotations. Interns start food service together the first week. They spend together in that rotation, and that just helps them get to know each other and start work on projects. There's a couple of group projects. One is doing a retail meal. So all of the process of coming up with a menu and doing a nutrient analysis on the menu and procurement and all of that stuff. So at the end of food service, that's their big project, is the retail meal. So they can start working on that the first week of food service. And then after that, they kind of split up to the different rotations. So it's just, one-on-one, the intern with the preceptor. And I think with food service rotations, food service managers are very, very busy. So the assignments the interns have are very detailed so that they can really function fairly independently. And that's, one of the things that we kind of look for try to look for in the application is, ability to be responsible and function independently with some supervision. So after the food service, clinical. So clinical, of course, the day-to-day or, that's going to vary depending on the rotation, but the core clinical, the rotations that are completed at St. Mary's or St. Joe's, it's a total of 18 weeks, not including staff relief. So, in the beginning, interns are brand new. They spend a few days just shadowing the dietitian to get an idea of what they do, how they interact with patients, and get used to the medical record. And then after that, they gradually become more independent. So the dietitian will assign them some patients to review, and they might review the patients, get information, and then talk with the dietitian about, okay, what do I need to talk to the patient about? And the dietitian will go with them and observe. And then, gradually as they progress through the weeks, they get more independent, and everybody's a little bit different. Some, become independent pretty quickly, and others not quite so much. But all the clinical rotations are just one-on-one. They're not group rotations. So the intern is with just one dietitian. Oh, one important thing, our hours are a little bit different than other internships. We're classified as full-time, but practice hours, like on-site practice hours, the requirement is 30 hours per week. And the program was originally developed for kind of non-traditional student, I guess, that needed to work during an internship. And I don't know that there's really a traditional type of student anymore anyway. And anyway, so, 30 hours per week that you have to be on site. So it does allow for a little extra time and doing projects and that kind of thing. And then also, of course, working if the intern needs to do that. So what else? Did I answer the question about?
Yes, you did. Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Yes.
So I mentioned one-on-one rotation. Some of the rotations are completed as a group. So things like clinical management and research and the school food service, the interns go through as a group because there's a lot of group type projects. So.
Great. So you are a traditional dietetic internship, which means students have to have a DPD verification statement to apply. And you use DICAS, the Dietetic Internship Centralized Application Service. And do you also participate in D&D digital matching?
Yes. Yeah, we participate in that.
All right.
So one new thing about our program this year is we're offering an optional master's degree. We're partnering with the University of Arizona here in Tucson. They have a professional science master's degree in applied nutrition. And the track for the internship is a nutrition and wellness track. So that's, I guess, kind of a nice compliment because we don't really have much wellness experiences in the internship. So so the way the process will work this first year, it's completely optional. The intern doesn't need to enroll in the PSM degree. But if the intern chooses to pursue that after they get matched to our program, then they apply to the university. And as long as they meet that minimum requirement of a 3.0 GPA, then they should be admitted. That won't be an issue. And then the PSM starts in June. So it starts a couple of months, 6 weeks before the internship. So that kind of allows people, the intern, to kind of get oriented to the master's degree. It's completely online, the master's. And then again, our interns finish the end of May and the PSM program finishes in August. So there's that a bit of time that the intern, can complete their degree. And the degree requires a capstone project. And so those last, couple of months is, they can totally focus on that. So we're excited about that. Again, it'll be optional for this next class. But I'm sure everybody knows an advanced degree will be required after January 1st, 2024. So yeah, this next class will be the last class that can get through with just a bachelor's.
All right. And so when that 2024 change happens, will you be accepting people who already have a master's and then they don't have to do an additional degree, in addition to students who have to finish that PSM to get their verification statement?
We've decided that if they don't have a bachelor's degree starting or they don't have a master's degree starting our program, they have to do the PSM. But if they already have a master's degree and that verification statement, then they don't need to do the PSM.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything that I forgot to ask?
Money.
Yeah, money is a big question.
Yeah, I hate to talk about that, but so our tuition is $10,000. Okay. And anybody that's participating in the PSM has to pay university tuition on top of that. So, so of course there's unfortunately costs associated, but yeah.
All right. Anything else, Jennifer?
I'm sure I've forgotten some stuff,
I'm sure, but if people have other questions, they can reach out to you.
Absolutely, yeah. Give them my contact information, and that we can schedule a call. I'd be happy to talk with them, or even if they're in Tucson, I'd be happy to meet with them as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate you talking with us today.
You're welcome. Thanks, Jennifer.